Hey everyone, welcome to the first episode of Hidden Gem. I'm excited to do this series and hopefully it takes off because it'll be an opportunity to discover either artists, bands, or just a song that deserves a lot more recognition than it initially has. And so if this thing continues and a lot of us could probably work together, there could be submissions and stuff that, because there's so much music out there and there's so many amazing things that it's hard to capture it all, but maybe we can all work together and do something cool for the community. So for this episode, I'm going to be featuring a song called Hell on Earth by Sea of Treachery, which came out in 2009. But before I comb through the song, which is a fantastic song, I want to kind of briefly talk about how I got introduced to Sea of Treachery in the first place. So back in 2006, my favorite thing to do was spend a lot of time on the MySpace music section. It was really cool because artists could choose 3 genres to partake in. So then, say for a lot of people that were into metalcore or deathcore or whatever, they would choose metal, hardcore, sometimes death metal, whatever, and then they would end up in every single category. So if you searched and broke it down, there was a chance that people could stumble upon you. And I would spend hours going through all the sections. I would go through all the pages. I'd go all the way to page 10, start clicking on bands that looked cool or whatever. It's how I found a lot of amazing artists out there. And the one that I'm featuring right now, Sea of Treachery, I found them as at Daggers Drawn. I remember seeing this. I remember seeing the cover, and I was like, oh, this looks pretty cool. Let me check it out. And some of the songs that are on here, they're on their album now where they changed their name to Sea of Treachery a couple of years later. And so it was pretty cool to see their progression, where they started off just doing some independent stuff, and then they got on Sumerian Records, and then they dropped 2 albums. Now, the most notable thing they did was they made a cover of Misery Business, and it went insanely viral to the point where I actually coined them to be the ones that started the trend of people just covering pop songs or pop punk or just metal bands covering pop songs in general. Maybe there were some other bands that did it before, but I think they started the major wave. As a matter of fact, I bet the Pump Goes Pop thing that was started by Fearless Records was probably shortly after this cover. And it went so big that Haley actually even responded. I remember she actually responded. She responded a couple of times. She responded on MySpace, and then here's one where she responded just saying, Sea of Treachery's cover of Misery Business is better than the original version. Faces will be melted, floors will be punched, change will be picked up, limbs dismembered, but really this is just a note to the dudes in the band. Thank you guys for taking the time to cover a Paramore song for whatever reason you did. As far as At Daggers Drawn and Sea of Treachery as a band, they were always they're pretty cool. I like a lot of their riffs and stuff, but it wasn't it felt lacking to me, and especially the clean vocals. I'm not a huge fan of bands with clean vocals where they can't sing very well, and then they just pitch correct everything and throw a lot, they throw a lot on it to make it sound decent. And there was an era of metalcore and post-hardcore that focused so much on it, and I couldn't stand it. I was surrounded by it, because to me, I'm I like people who can actually sing, who can actually bellow. It just sounds so much better. So say even them covering Misery Business with the choruses, I'm that shit doesn't sound good to me. And here's a little tidbit. In 2009, I jumped on a tour called Shred or Be Dead. It was with Sea of Treachery, I think Molotov Solution. I was with this band, We Are the End, who I jumped on tour with. Suffocate. I don't know. I think I already said Suffocate. It was a pretty cool tour package. And I met the guys in Sea of Treachery, and they're pretty cool guys. And they were promoting their second album around that time that they were getting. They didn't release it yet, but they were getting ready to release it. Called Wonderland, which that album was kind of iffy to me. There was a lot of people who thought this album was actually really great, but I felt like it was a little messy. The mixing was pretty terrible, and the dude that joined, the singing, I'm just not that into it, but I will say it was a pretty decent, it wasn't terrible. It just, you know what I mean? Cool, it's metalcore, right? Nothing special, not terrible, but it just hits all the cookie cutter notes. And after a while, they kind of just disappeared. I don't know what happened to them, but they did come back in 2019, and man, they came back with a vengeance. This right here completely caught me off guard because they completely changed their sound. 100%, they sound fantastic now. Listen to that. Listen to that. If you were a fan of Sea of Treachery or At Daggers Drawn, this is like a complete metamorphosis. Everything sounds so tight, so clean. One thing that I like, the biggest criticism I had with their old stuff was that the riffs were so chaotic. And here's the thing, there was a lot of bands that did that in the metalcore scene. They just, their riffs weren't coherent. They were just chaotic. They were just riffing. They're just riffing. They're shredding essentially. And they're like, that sounds good. And they memorize it. And then there you go. And it's like, that's not how a good song is written. That's not how a good riff is written. A good riff, no matter how fast it is, should still be coherent. And this is perfect. I just love that. It's just perfect. Everything just syncing so well together. Beautiful and melodic and heavy. Listen to that. That is so ridiculous. Night and day, man. Night and day. It is so beautiful. That's what I'm talking about. Like, that is amazing. That is such an amazing song, just hearing that little piece of it. And there's much, much more of it. There is much more. Perfect. Perfect. One thing that I can't stand about solos a lot of times is when people are just, look how fast I can shred, so they just do it. Like, you don't have to do it. Some of the best solos are the most, in my opinion at least, the best solos are the most emotional ones that are just, they take their time to swell and build, and it just fit the mood perfectly. And this is like one of those songs that, like, I look at the views, like, let's check this out. We're going to go check out the views. Look at that. 17,000 views. Like, when I see that, and for how good this song is, now they've been gone for a long time, but it's just like, this is why I wanted to start this series, because that is not enough. For how good this song is, that's not enough. And funny, look at this. There's me. I'm like, yo, what the fuck? I had no idea you guys dropped new music. This is really good. Like, genuinely, this is a fantastic song, and I would love to just contribute in any way possible and help in getting the word out. You know, this series may not even blow up or anything, but there's going to be a handful of people that are going to watch this, and hopefully they're going to watch it, and hopefully they can tell a few other people, because I think this is a very good song. It's on Spotify. It's on everything. You should definitely put this song in your arsenal of music, your playlist or whatever, because I think this is a very good song. I'm a huge fan. Sea of Treachery has some other new songs out too, and they're good too, but this one really touches me a lot. Actually, I don't know. It just makes me feel really emotional. It just hits like all of the perfect melodies, the perfect minor chords to just really make me feel something. And their old music, which it was fine, and I'm glad I discovered them and stuff, and it was cool to like hang out with them and everything. But damn, this shit is just on a completely whole new level. And I think they just need to be in the right place at the right time to really get the recognition that they deserve. Because I think, like, when I hear this song, I'm like, this is a beautiful song. This is exactly the type of music this is as melodic as it gets for like a perfect balance of just heavy and beautiful without there being clean vocals in it. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't even need it. Sure, I mean, I think a lot of songs could be if there's really good cleans on it, it can be a great addition. But this is, to me, I'm like, oh, I listen to this, I'm like, this is perfect. I love this shit. So guys, if you want to check out this song, the link's going to be in the description below. Let me know if you have some good gems you would like to share and I can investigate, because to be honest, I have a long catalog already kind of brewing up in my head of things that I feel like people need to hear. However, there might be some things that people show me that might have to jump ahead of the line, because it'll be like, this song or this band is so good and nobody knows about them. I'm like, this is truly a hidden gem. And I think this song, Hell on Earth by Sea of Treachery, is truly a hidden gem. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. You guys have a good one, and I'll see you in the next one.